Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Check Kerry Johnson. Mr. Herman. Kyle. Check. 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 Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Really makes a difference. I think the last stream, the audio was absolutely perfect. The big thing we did over
Yeah, while we were with that.
in the boardroom or the auditorium.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Did you see any of it?
Yeah.
Crystal clear.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Oh,
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming tonight. All right, welcome to today's Board of Education meeting. Carrie, if you're ready, can you please call roll?
Mr. Baden?
Here.
Mrs. Hapkemeyer?
Here.
Ms. McKnight?
Here.
Mr. Miller?
Here.
Mr. Stamm?
I'm here.
If we please stand, say the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. All right, moving on to item number 2 on our agenda is the Board of Education approving the minutes of last month's meeting and special meeting. Do I have any questions, comments, concerns? If not, I need a motion to approve the minutes.
All motion.
All right, Lindsay motion, do I have a second? Shelley seconds. Carrie, when you are ready.
Mr. Baden?
Yes.
Mrs. Hapkemeyer?
Yes.
Ms. McKnight?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Stamm?
Yes.
All right, item number 3 is our treasurer's report. Carrie?
Thank you. Short agenda for me this month. First item is to approve our monthly financials from September of 2025 as presented. And I did send the AW financials today, and I did tell Mike I would work to make certain they're all going the same shape. But I give credit to Ray. He's been really trying to work and find something that's easy to read. So, but we'll get there. And then under item B is to approve many donations. We're always very thankful for those. We've had a donation from the athletic band boosters for a sousaphone, the Anthony Wayne athletic booster, or the athletic boosters, band boosters for track, a couple grants, and then a donation to help Fallen Timbers camp fees that were unpaid due to circumstances. So
thing I would just like to mention on those, I would like to mention to recognize, first of all, very, very happy that we were able to work with the band boosters to be able to get that sousaphone. It was a very, very expensive instrument, and they worked with us to be able to split that cost. The other thing that I just wanted to thank the athletic boosters, we did recently install the track, and we're thrilled with that it is coming along, and we're getting close to an end. But in order to actually have it, you know, the equipment to be at the same level as the track and so forth also, they're working with us as well to purchase new hurdles and equipment, and so we're thankful for that. And then I just wanted to mention, because we were going to have the neighborhood bridges speak tonight, but we're going to have them do that next month. 2 different times you can see from 2 different donations that they made to help students to have the experiences that we would as far as camp and fees and so forth. And so really want to just thank them for the work that they do. They are an organization that provides a lot of financial support to our students and families. And so we are going to have them here next month. And I'm excited about that because they do so much good. And so I did want to recognize them also for the donations they made.
and that is all I have.
Oh, wow, very simple.
I said I had a short agenda.
Any
Everyone just looked at me.
Any questions for Carrie?
So it looked like over $20,000 in donations
Yes.
this month. That's awesome. So thank you to the community for helping Anthony Way be so awesome.
It's very awesome.
Anything else? If not, I need a motion to approve.
I'll move to approve.
Jeff moves. Do I have a second?
I will second.
Mike seconds. Carrie, when you're ready.
Mr. Baden?
Yes.
Mrs. Hapkemeyer?
Yes.
Ms. McKnight?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Stamm?
Yes.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 4 on our agenda, Superintendent's Educational Report.
I'd like to begin by just sharing we have a few presentations tonight, and it really focuses on, I believe, the great things that are happening within this district. I think it's what makes us stand out and reassures us that the education that we're providing for our students and the opportunities that we're providing our students, that we are excelling in those areas. And you're going to hear about some of the things that our different organizations are doing. You're going to recognize how overall we're doing as a district academically. And then you're going to be introduced to some of our staff members that were recognized as our staff members of the year. And that's what happens with them and what happens across this district is what allows us to be able to have our students experience the success they do and excel as they do. So our very first one I'd like to introduce is Kaylin Scheller with the FCCLA, and they had quite an active summer and a lot of success in their program, and would like to share some of that with you.
Absolutely. Because I need to have my fantastic students behind me because they are what makes everything I do possible. And board, I'm very, very pleased to come and present to you Superintendent Herman, Dr. Pfefferly, board, and administrators and guests. I'm so proud to present these magnificent students and the success that we've had with FCCLA this past year. So I'm Ms. Schaller. I am your Penta Career Center Family and Consumer Sciences teacher at the junior high school. And I'm also representing Mrs. Amanda Valdez, who is a Penta Career Center satellite teacher at the high school, who is out on a maternity leave right now. So FCCLA is a national career technical student organization, and it focuses on personal growth and leadership development and career preparation, and it's aligned with the family and consumer sciences education. Now, recently, we had 15 students from Anthony Wayne who attended, from both the high school and the junior high school, they attended the National Leadership Conference in Orlando, Florida. And we were joined by 3 other Penta Career Center satellite chapters. And at this conference, our students, I mean to tell you, they found major success in their projects, and they learned more about future career options. Now, this is the amazing thing. In fact, 1/3 of the top award winners in the state of Ohio are standing behind me. 1/3. Yeah, they deserve that, they really do. But I would like you to hear directly from them, their name, and just a little tiny bit about the projects that they did. First of all, I want to tell you also, they started these projects last October and worked on them all year long, not extra credit, not part of the class. This was something, a passion project that they all worked on. And we're going to start with Allison.
Hello, I'm Allison Geckel, and this year I competed in the STAR event Career Investigation and received a gold medal at the National Leadership Conference. I would like to thank Penta Career Center for sponsoring us to go to this conference. One thing I learned through FCCLA was how to properly give a presentation and have confidence in what I was talking about. I would also like to thank my advisor, Ms. Schaller, for supporting me through this amazing journey of FCCLA.
Hi, my name is Carter Rinker, and I competed in the project from Promote and Publicize FCCLA, placing 3rd in the nation. I would like to thank my advisor, Ms. Schaller, for all the help and support she's giving me, and Penta Career Center for funding our trip and have been there for support. FCCLA has taught me to use my voice for good, and that's what this organization means to me. It's very helpful.
Hi, my name is Sophie Caños, and I competed in the project Nutrition and Wellness. I created a week's worth of nutrition and wellness plan for myself to not only help me feel my best, but to also perform my best as well. At the National Leadership Conference, I placed 2nd in the nation and received gold. Throughout this leadership organization, I learned how to find my confidence and communicate better with others. I would like to thank Ms. Schaller for supporting me throughout this journey, and Penta Career Center for giving me the opportunity to go on this trip.
Hi, I'm Karis Doro.
And I'm Bryn Hubbard. And we competed in the project Food Innovations, where we had to create a new food prototype that was effectively nutritious and delicious.
And we're proud to say that we placed 1st in the nation with a gold medal.
We would like to thank Penta for sponsoring us and Ms. Schaller for always pushing us to be our best.
And one thing that we learned from FCCLA was really how to give a professional presentation, how to communicate with others better, and how to be confident in what we do.
Hi, my name is Madeline Johnston. I did career investigation last year, and I researched what it would be like to become a future lawyer. I got a gold medal at nationals, and last year was actually my first time being at FCCLA, and due to Penna and my advisor, Ms. Valdez's support, I was able to go to the National Leadership Conference, which was very important to me. I learned a lot of professional skills like speaking and networking there, and it was a great opportunity overall.
Hi, my name is Diana Beach, and last year I competed in the Focus on Children event, where I worked with last year's 4th graders to learn about positive relationships and how to apply them to their lives, as they were the students that came in during COVID. I received a silver medal at nationals, and I would like to thank Penta for sponsoring us so that we could take a hold of these really incredible opportunities, and would like to thank Mrs. Valdez for encouraging all of us and support us and teaching us skills that we can take with us into the future and into our adulthoods.
Hi, my name is Skylar Smelly, and I competed in Repurpose and New Design last year. I earned gold at regional, state, and national level. I collected repurposed glass. I collected recycled glass from around my house, and I created 3 pieces of just glass work. And I would like to thank Penta and Ms. Valdez for helping us throughout the last school year. And I'm very excited for this year. And my favorite thing from last year that I learned was how to give professional presentations.
Hi, everyone. My name is Grant Hubley, and I served as the FCCLA National First Vice President on the 2024-2025 FCCLA National Executive Council. This year has been one of the most meaningful experiences of my life, and I'm honored to share how FCCLA, our amazing advisors, and our chapter has shaped our leadership journeys. Throughout this term, I had the privilege to lead the first Fall Leadership Institute in Orlando, Florida. I also traveled to Herndon, Virginia, and New York City for national strategic planning meetings, where I helped plan our national conferences, gave input on our competitive events, assisted with national outreach and communication efforts, and volunteered in several community service projects. This year, I also attended the Michigan State Leadership Conference as a keynote speaker, and I represented FCCLA at the 2025 National Lifesavers Conference, where I led a panel discussion on youth traffic safety in front of 400 national traffic safety stakeholders. I also hosted a BNI event where I fundraised over $1,100 from local business owners, and with the help of all of my advisors, I was able to raise an additional $3,000, all of which went to students in underfunded and underprivileged schools. But one of the most meaningful moments for me was returning home to support Ohio FCCLA. At their state leadership conference, I delivered a 20-minute, fully memorized keynote speech in front of over 1,000 attendees. And it was at the same conference that one of my closest friends, Aradia, was elected as the Ohio FCCLA state president. Later that year, at the National Leadership Conference, we joined more than 10,000 members from across the country, the largest national leadership conference that we have to date. Like Ms. Schaller said, Anthony Wayne and Penna Career Center stood out as one of the strongest chapters with multiple national placers, including Aradia herself. I had the honor of addressing the entire national audience from the main stage, a culmination of not just my hard work, but of the countless hours poured into me by my advisors. And with that, I'd like to pass it over to Aradia to share more about her own experience.
All right, thank you, Grant. Good evening, everyone. My name is Aradia Muthamula, and I am proudly serving as the 2025-2026 Ohio FCCLA State President. During the National Leadership Conference, the State Association hosted the Ohio State Meeting, welcoming nearly 300 Ohio delegates. Beyond my responsibilities as a state officer, one of my most defining experiences at the National Leadership Conference was competing in FCCLA's National Star event, Red Talks on Education, where I earned first place in the nation. But after the conference, our work did not stop. We immediately began preparing for the fall leadership training, where I am leading workshops on leadership and community service. Every detail that we plan and every idea that we brainstorm is driven by the desire to help students grow and progress.
And the truth is, none of this work would have been possible without our amazing advisors. Both Mrs. Valdez, Mrs. Zach at Penta, and Ms. Schaller have given more than their time. They've given their hearts to us. They are the definition of what it means to be educators who go above and beyond. Throughout my national officer term, these advisors met with me 2 to 3 hours a week outside of school. They reviewed speeches, helped with presentations, offered feedback, and made sure I was balancing school, leadership, and life. In her role as a National Officer Advisor at Penta, Mrs. Zach attended weekly national staff meetings, created lesson plans, training materials, and presentations, all without compensation. She did it because she believed in the impact FCCLA has on all of us. Meanwhile, Mrs. Valdez managed a busy chapter of her own, yet still checked in with me daily, helping with travel arrangements, reviewing applications, and reminding me to take care of myself. Their commitment goes far beyond the classroom. They've guided me through moments of doubt, stress, and self-discovery.
I have also experienced the same unwavering support. I've had pep talks from Mrs. Zach, the encouragement from Mrs. Valdez, and the compassion from every advisor in this program. We've both spent hours in Ms. Schaller's room getting advice, whether it's on a project, a college essay, or just life in general. If I ever feel like accomplishing my goal wasn't possible, she reminded me that anything is achievable through hard work and dedication. Anything we needed help on, Ms. Schaller was only one email away.
To our advisors, mentors, and everyone at Penta Career Center and Anthony Wayne, thank you for believing in us, guiding us, and showing us what it means to lead with purpose and heart. We are proud to represent Anthony Wayne Local Schools and Ohio FCCLA, and we promise to carry forward the lessons we've learned from both the teachers who changed our lives. Thank you.
Well, I really can't say anything else. They've said it all. As you can see, from our youngest members to having a state officer and a national officer, Anthony Wayne has now had 2 national officers. That is a big deal. And we've had so many state officers, I've lost count. And that's also a big deal. So thank you so much for letting us have the time here tonight to share our success with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can adults sign up for your class? Yeah. I know a few people we could.
I like the idea of the presentation skills, yes. We also would like to give them the opportunity. I know that we talked before the meeting started that many of them have not had dinner yet or and so forth, and you are welcome to go. We do want to thank you and congratulate you on your success, and you always make us proud standing in front of us and presenting as you do. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
A lot of the people in the community, they know FCCLA, but they don't understand what those letters mean. Could you tell us what those letters mean, please?
FCCLA stands for Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America. And through our Family and Consumer Sciences education, it's built into everything that we do. We do service projects throughout the year in our classrooms, and then these students, they choose to do this. This is an additional thing that they choose to do. So we've got so much to be proud of with them.
And you also will recognize when they say that they're building leaders, they absolutely are leaders in this district and community.
Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, then, I would like to call Jim Conner up. He is our Director of Teaching and Learning, and to share kind of the results of our state testing.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Herman, Board of Education. Mr. Herman asked me to share a little bit about our state test results from last year. I'm sure many of you know last month the state report cards were released to the general public, and I think it's important to spend a couple minutes at least celebrating all of the accomplishments of our students, teachers, and staff, because once again, we truly had some outstanding results. If you took a moment to read through the report card, you would have seen that Anthony Wayne earned an overall rating of 4.5 stars out of 5. When you dig a little bit deeper into the report card, it's based on 6 criteria. So there's an achievement criteria, a progress, gap closing, graduation rate, early literacy, and for the first time this year, a college, career, workforce, and military readiness component. Each one of those makes up a percentage of the overall rating to get that 4.5 stars or whatever a district would have earned. Tonight, I'd like to spend just a couple minutes talking about the achievement rating. I think the achievement rating is one of the easiest components to kind of wrap our heads around and dig into that a little bit with you. So to give our state testing a little bit of scale, I always like to look at how many state tests our students take throughout the course of the year. So we, students are administered state tests. They're Ohio State tests in grades 3 through 8. And then at the high school, we have our end of course exams. So over the course of a last school year, almost 6,500 state tests were administered to Anthony Wayne students. Now, when a student takes a state test, when their score is reported, it's reported in, they get a scale score, and that scale score puts them in a performance level. So the performance levels go as follows. Advanced plus students are students who are grade level accelerated. So for example, you could have a 4th grade student who's actually taking 5th grade math. That means they would have actually taken the 5th grade math test. So if they scored advanced, they would get advanced plus. Then you have advanced, accomplished, basic, and limited. And one of the statistics I always like to share with people is that out of those almost 6,500 tests, 4,215 were in those top 3 performance levels. Next slide, please. So this is kind of how the state goes about ranking achievement, okay? Each test that lands in a particular performance level is assigned a point value, okay? So you can see there, so 3.9% of all of our tests scored in the advanced plus range. And so then you use a multiplier and you then get a point value for each performance level. You add all of those up and you get kind of a total point value for all of your tests that are administered. The state then sets a performance index score max, which is basically an average of the top 2% of districts across the state. So for this year, for example, the state performance index max was 109.8. Anthony Wayne was at a 104.155, 104.2, so we'll round it up. So how do we take then that performance index and get a PI score, a PI percentage, and then land on that 5-star rating for achievement? Okay, as I just kind of explained, the state sets that max based on all of the state testing across the state. We then take our results, it gets factored into that PI percentage score, and then in the graph on the right, I know it's a little bit small, but our performance index percentage score winds up a 94.9, which puts us in that 5-star rating. Our PI score, and you have to remember there's 2 different performance index ratings. There's your overall score and then a percentage. But Anthony Wayne Local Schools PI score ranked 30th out of 607 public school districts across the state of Ohio. The link there in blue is the actual data file that's buried in the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce website. So you can actually pull that up and look at all the schools around the state to see where they scored, if you so choose. This is actually a screenshot. I think it's just kind of a nice view of this. You'll look down and you can see Anthony Wayne highlighted in yellow with our performance index score at 104.2. Obviously, the first row there is the header row, so that puts us at 30th in the state for our total performance index score. Much like a district performance index, each building gets a performance index. The max building performance index score is a 111.3. It differs slightly from the district score because, again, they take all 3,151 school buildings and create that max score by averaging the top 2%. And a lot of people will ask me, you know, out in public or in the neighborhood, like, how do you get these percentages of where you rank? Well, when we say, for instance, the White House building was in the top 1%, that's based on this performance index score or the achievement portion of the grade card. So, for instance, White House had a 111.1 performance index score, and again, the max score based on that 2% average was 111.3. So what I like to do is just take the numbers and say, you know, the high school was in the top 18% for achievement, junior high top 10, Fallen Timbers top 2, and so on. Because I think it's really something to be proud of that our students continually achieve at such a high level. So I'd like to just include a slide where folks can click on the link, go to the Department of Education Workforce website, read up on all the different components of the report card. Again, there are 6 that factor into that. Each one of them is a little bit more complex than the next. But again, the achievement drives a lot of it in terms of where we end up with that overall 4.5-star ranking. I will tell you that today the state website was a little glitchy, so I'll double check that link tomorrow and make sure it's accurate. And then I think there's one more slide, Mr. Hamady. The other thing I would always encourage everybody to look at is our quality profile and report card information page. The quality profile is a really nice document that gets put together every year that really outlines not only the academic side of things, but all of the extracurriculars and other activities that our students are involved in. So I like to include that in case you know, it's a good document to kind of leaf through and see all the great things that our students and teachers are doing. And I would be remiss if I didn't end by saying, you know, thank you to all the students, parents, teachers. A lot of hard work goes into these results, and I think it's something that we can all be proud of because that's why we're here. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. I also would like to just congratulate basically all of our students. their parents, families for the emphasis that they put on education, the community that supports and has high expectations, and then also our staff that work very, very hard. We all know that the things that happen within the classroom each day directly impact the education that our students receive. And that is our next opportunity that we have, or a presentation we have, is we are going to recognize those staff members that are our outstanding staff members of the year. Each year, when we start back to school, we do recognize one certified and one classified staff member. This year, we have two certified staff members that we're recognizing because the applications were so strong. And they are recommended by other staff members and so forth, and it's really based on our portrait of a general competencies and the competencies that they show within their classroom. So we are very, very proud to present our next staff members of the year, and we have individuals that are going to do those presentations. I would first call up Matt Smith. He is the principal at Fallen Timbers, and he is going to present Mary Dressel her award. So Mary, if you'd like to come up.
All right. Well, first off, thank you. It's an honor to be up here to recognize Mary again. Mary Dressel is a phenomenal educator and teammate who models curiosity and love of learning for students and colleagues alike. Constantly seeking new ideas and strategies, she embraces challenges as opportunities for growth, showing her students the power of resilience. Mary doesn't just teach content, she teaches students how to think, problem solve, and understand the impact of their choices on others. Her clear communication with students, families, and colleagues builds strong partnerships that support success. A true team player, Mary shares her expertise generously, responds openly to feedback, and always focuses on what's best for students. Her flexibility creates a positive, supportive environment where everyone can grow and succeed together. At the heart of Mary's work is empathy. She treats each child with fairness, respect, and genuine compassion, ensuring every student feels valued, heard, and supported, not just academically, but as a whole person. Though humble and never seeking the spotlight, Mary notices when someone needs encouragement and advocates fiercely for her students. She makes our school a better place to work and learn every single day, qualities that make her very deeply deserving of this honor.
Next, we'd like to call up Brian DeKay, and along with that, we're going to ask Mr. Burke and Dr. Pfefferly to present his award.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kevin Pfefferly. It's my honor and privilege here to recognize Mr. Brian DeKay again. As Mr. Herman stated, we were able to present and share these honors in front of our entire staff. And so to be able to do it publicly with family here is all the better. So I've worked with Brian for the past 9 years at the high school prior to this year, and Mr. Brian DeKay is in constant learning motion. He often says he needs to change things up in his varied course curriculum, knowing he can't keep doing the same things or he'll get bored. He takes on new challenges with curiosity and great interest and is always excited when a student shares a new skill or creation. Mr. DeKay goes above and beyond to offer the latest in technology, art techniques, and creative processes for his students. He communicates exceptionally well with students, parents, and our counseling and office teams. Whether celebrating student successes or addressing concerns, he approaches situations in ways that promote student well-being. He never walks away from a student in need, always offering his full support with motives rooted in their best interests. Students know they can lean on Mr. Decay during tough times. He greets every student at his door each period and works hard to understand what drives them and how art can help them explore themselves. He builds strong professional relationships, even with our most challenging students, through grace, understanding, and without judgment. In addition to his outstanding classroom work, Mr. Decay developed our after-school video game club into a state-level esports team, providing a positive outlet for students who might not otherwise feel connected to school. His dedication to helping students find purpose is what sets him apart. For these reasons and many more, we are proud to recognize Brian Decay as Staff Member of the Year.
And last but certainly not least, our smiley Claudine Strayer, and I would ask Betsy, Mrs. Murray, to come up and present her award.
Thank you. It is my privilege to present Classified Staff Member of the Year, Mrs. Strayer, and Smiley, that never changes. Everyone knows that secretaries are the heart of the school and keep it running smoothly. Claudine is the first friendly face many of us see each morning and the calm voice on the other end of the line. She is so much more than a secretary. She's a problem solver, a confidant, and the organizational force that keeps everything running smoothly. Her adaptability and flexibility are characteristics she demonstrates each day, helping the custodian stay organized, knowing where each child goes at dismissal, and of course, fixing the copy machine at any given time. Claudine exhibits empathy by caring about each student, family, and staff member. No matter the situation, she remains calm and positive, thinking of the other side of the story, just not the school's end. As the front lines of the office, communication is essential. Again, Claudine shines in this area. She tracks down answers for all staff, any parent that is calling, while also trying to get quotes for an order. She never gets rattled or frustrated in high-pressure situations. I am honored to have Claudine selected as the Staff Member of the Year and the opportunity to work with her each day. Due to her experiences in other departments, not only does she make Monclova a better place, she has made a positive impact in AWLS as a whole. So congratulations, Claudine.
It's a very proud moment when we can have three presentations, one that focuses on our students, one that focuses on the education that they receive, and one that focuses on the staff that helps make it happen. So very, very proud to be in this position and to be able to share the great things happening in the district. I have shared with those individuals that have leaving their classrooms that probably have not had dinner yet either, that they are more than welcome to leave as well. We do congratulate you, and we couldn't be prouder to have you on staff. Okay, then we'll move on to item B on the agenda, which is overnight trips. You will notice 3 overnight trips that they're asking permission. Again, one is just kind of we heard from the FCCLA. This is the FFA National Convention. And then we also have individuals that are a field trip, and then our cheer team, they are planning on attending nationals again in February. So we would like to have those 3 approved. Next, we have educational agreements. You'll notice 2 educational agreements. Those are that is for an individual that's on an IEP, which we've shared before. Those students that are on individualized education plans have special needs, and we work with them to make sure that we are meeting all of their needs, and that is sometimes within the school, and that is sometimes in other facilities. And so we are happy to be able to provide them that opportunity and make those agreements with other places. Next, we have the school calendar, and that is been shared with you for next school year. Want to thank Dr. Pfefferly and the team committee that worked on that. They had presented two different calendars to the school district and to the staff members, and they actually voted on the one that's being recommended to you tonight at a 80% to 20% vote. So 80% of staff members were in favor of the one that we are recommending to you to approve. It is similar to this year's that we've adjusted, and what we are working towards is being able to make sure that we have our first semester done before the end of winter break, or at the end of winter break, and then also to try to be able to be out of school before June hits. We know that we ran into a little bit of trouble with that last year, and so we've worked very hard with that. Dr. Pfefferly, anything else that you'd like to share about the calendar?
Nothing additional.
Okay. And then on item E would be our board policies. Just to kind of share with you a little bit of the process that we go through when developing policies. We do work with a company, it's called Neola. Neola, they will make recommended changes based on, they keep track of all the laws that are happening, and then we need to change policies to meet the law, and so they will make those recommendations to us and send those to us. They come and meet with us and explain why those are necessary. The administration then works together to try to understand if there are any options and what fits best for Anthony Wayne schools. We then work with the board committee to share those and then bring them to the board for approval. So that happens twice a year. And I will share with you that Mike was on that committee. And so, Mike, do you have any items that you'd like to share?
Yeah, so the most of the changes that we're looking at this time, well, first of all, I shared quite a bit over the last couple days with the board, so I feel like they probably know, but to share with the audience, most of the changes come from House Bill 96, and like Kevin said, we don't really have a choice on the law. We are here to support the state of Ohio. There are a few things that we get the option on, and on all of those, we almost exclusively, and in this time included, went with the recommendations from both Kevin and Carrie. I think one of them was the maximum amount we're going to take on a credit card.
Right, as far as the payment goes, yes.
Yeah, so there really wasn't much here that we were going to discuss, or that we had a big option on. A couple of the policies I think are pretty major, and I think maybe we spend a minute or two for having Kevin discuss them. The one of them is the cell phone policy, which I think we implemented almost exclusively at the beginning of this school year, which was a good idea, and has gone, as far as I can tell, wildly successful. Yeah. So my kids are, well,
yeah.
Well,
I was gonna say, John, do you want to speak to that?
So I'm not talking to all the students, but I'm talking to some teachers and I'm talking to parents, and my wife works at the school. It sounds like things are going awfully well with the cell phone policy 5136, and then also an email came out the other day about the attendance policy. Can you just talk briefly about those?
I actually will share. I'll ask Mr. Burke to come up if you'd like to share a little bit on the cell phone policy and then information about the implementation of it.
Sorry, Mr. Burke.
We decided at the beginning of the school year, once the House bill was passed, after a lot of conversation, that it's probably best to just rip this Band-Aid off and go for it at the beginning of the school year, rather than we have kids, so we know what it's like to try to pull back once they already have some freedom and independence. And so we explained to our staff early on, hey, look, the change that's different is really in the hallway, the lunchroom, study halls, that kind of thing. In the classroom, they really shouldn't see much difference. And so we explained that to our kids at the beginning of the year too. I talked to them about the power of okay. It's whenever I use my wife as an example, whenever my wife says something that corrects me that I don't really like, it's okay. And, and so I talked to the students about that. We don't have to like it, we don't have to agree with it, but we ask that we all work together on that. And the students have really responded well. We still have some improvements. They're starting to get loose a little bit. And so we actually have a staff meeting tomorrow. We're going to start talking about students in the hallway. We got to start putting those away. The lunchroom has been amazing. We have kids who are playing euchre. We have kids who are playing board games. In study halls, they're reading books. We haven't necessarily had that in the last, I'd say, 10 years, to be honest with you. So it's kind of been refreshing that day one, we had students who are in the hallway in the second period of study hall and are asking them what they're doing. They're like, we're looking for a board game because it's day one and we don't have any homework. So the students have been great. We've been very appreciative, and the staff has been very wonderful in relaying our decisions to the kids as well, so everybody's on board. Thanks.
Thank you. I also would ask Dr. Pfeffley, he had worked closely with the administration on the attendance policy, and this is just again to share with you when something starts to be introduced, we look at how are we best going to implement this within Anthony Wayne schools, and it typically takes committee work, and so I'm going to ask Dr. Pfeffley to share a little bit about the attendance policy and the work that went into that.
Sure. So we had a couple of different meetings with principals, assistant principals, deans of students at all the buildings to come together and rework policy, but also more importantly, I think rework some of the internal workings of letters, communication, reporting, all of those things that come with the policy. This is Board Policy 5200 that we had to update as a result of state law changes. So our committee worked for a couple of days. The adoption of the policy itself, as Mr. Stom said, was relatively easy because it was accepting a lot of language we had to accept if we're going to follow and be compliant with state law. The rest of the work from the committee, they put a lot of time and effort in making sure our interventions, our communication pieces were right where they need to be so that we're consistent across the district and so that parents, as they travel up through the district, can be reliant on consistent communication across all buildings. And we felt that was really important. There's still some work going on with those letters and being consistent, but they did a fantastic job. And again, our parents overall do a fantastic job of getting their children to school, which is the most important part of all of this. So we are very appreciative of that, but very appreciative of our committee that did a lot of work.
So yeah, that's pretty much all I have. Like I say, every time we have one of these meetings, if anyone in the audience or online or anyone at all wants to see what policy changes were made, just reach out and we'll get that to you.
Okay. And that's all that I have at this time on those areas.
Any other questions, comments for Ms. Sherman?
Yes.
Of all the policies that we are going to approve or not approve, is that also 0169.1?
No, we have not. We do not have that on the.
That's not on the agenda for tonight?
Not on the agenda for today.
Okay.
Anything else? If not, need a motion to approve.
I will move.
All right. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Lindsay seconds. Carrie, when you're ready.
Mr. Baden?
Yes.
Mrs. Hapkemeyer?
Yes.
Ms. McKnight?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Stom?
Yes.
All right. Moving on to item number 5, Superintendent's personnel recommendations.
All right. I would first like to share our resignations and retirements, and I would like to recognize Tony Baldwin. She is a cook at Monclova that is retiring, and then James Balone, he's retiring also. Both of them have been very, very long employees for a very long time, and they've contributed a great deal to our students and to the staff, and we are very appreciative of their years of service, so we do want to wish them well. It's always interesting. I know that if you read the retirement letters, Mr. Balone is very, very creative. He actually has written books, and his retirement letter was in the form of a poem. So,
Say, I did enjoy that poem.
Yes.
I read it today.
Yeah, it was wonderful. So
And
we
I
wish
might
them,
add-
we wish them the best.
I might add, if you have not read his books, you really should. They're hilarious, they're well written, and they take you back to a time that was a little bit lighter, and they're so much fun. They're just a lot of fun to read.
In item B, we do have, we are hiring 2 individuals. One is a food service worker and one is a custodian. So we're pleased to add them to our staff. I will also share that we do have a number of substitutes that we are adding tonight and recommending to be hired. I would like to thank Dr. Contat and those individuals that are the directors of our classified areas. They held some open interviews, and we were able to build that pool of substitutes. And a lot of times that's where, from that pool is where we get our individuals that end up taking positions. So we're appreciative of them being able to do that. And then you'll also see that we have individuals that get hired to work at our tournaments when we host tournaments here in the district and so forth. In item D, we have volunteers. Those individuals are people that are going to volunteer in different capacities throughout the district. It could be with sports, or it could be even within the school buildings and so forth. So our limited supplemental contracts, as we've shared previously, those are individuals that have it's not their typical line of work and so forth, and that we're asking them to do additional work, or that they are taking positions within the district and don't already hold a position within the district. For example, you'll notice 2 individuals are going to go to camp with the students, and they are going to, at times we have students that need additional help at camp and so forth, and it's so important to us that they are able to go, they're able to experience camp like the other 6th graders and so forth. So anything that we can do to help support them and make that trip successful, we do. And then finally is our supplemental contracts. Again, those are many of the individual teachers that will be accompanying our students to camp. We've already had 2 groups go. It was very, very successful. We believe that they had a great time and they had beautiful weather. I believe that our last group goes next week. Is that correct? Yeah, so we have one more group that'll go next week, Monday through Wednesday. So we're excited for that.
Fantastic. Any questions, comments, concerns for Mr. Herman? If not, I need a motion to approve.
I'll move.
Jeff moves. Do I have a second?
I will second.
Okay. Mike? Carrie, when you're ready.
Mr. Baden?
Yes.
Mrs. Hapkemeyer?
Yes.
Ms. McKnight?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Stamm?
Yes.
All right, at this time, we'll be moving into the board comment section. This is an opportunity for each board member to share their own personal perspectives and reflections. Please note, each comment represents the individual's views and not particularly necessarily the board as a whole's views. With that, I would ask that we keep it to about 5 minutes or so. Ms. Hopmeyer, you have the floor.
Oh, that's rough starting with me first and giving me a time limit. But I did my best to keep it somewhat concise. But if you know me, I like to talk, so I'll do my best. Well, tonight I've decided to read my comments instead of my preferred impromptu style because I want to be thorough in sharing my heart as I address some concerns from community members, as well as share a couple of examples of positive student behavior I've witnessed recently. I want the community and my fellow board members to know that I understand how emotions can run high when something we are passionate about is at stake or it feels like it's being threatened. And in full transparency, I acted on those types of emotions several weeks ago when, during a period of sudden grief, I posted something that caused other people's emotions to also run high. And I regret doing so, and I'm sincerely sorry to those that it negatively affected, and I genuinely ask your forgiveness. Since our last meeting on September 15th, I've received a few emails regarding Mike's impromptu prayer and the faith-based references and email signatures of myself and Mike, and concerns about their constitutionality, citing the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment. It is understandable how both instances could be misconstrued as unconstitutional, and I do appreciate the attentiveness of our community to bring this to our attention.
After careful research, it's my understanding that neither of these instances suggests an infraction of the Establishment Clause, meaning neither the prayer or the faith-based email signatures signal that the government is trying to establish an official religion. On the contrary, these actions more reflect the freedom and privilege of the Free Exercise Clause in the First Amendment, which protects an individual's right to practice their religion without government interference. And just lastly on this matter, I do also understand it can be challenging to accept leadership practices of someone whose beliefs don't align with your own. But it's important to remember that during election cycles, constituents do vote based on the beliefs, values, character, and sometimes faith of the candidates. And when I accepted my role as a school board member, I wasn't asked, nor did I intend to check my faith at the door. My faith in Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior is woven into every aspect of my life. And to expect any elected official to suppress their beliefs while serving is just unrealistic, unwise, and unconstitutional. And I understand and respect that not everyone shares my faith, but this doesn't require my silence. And that being said, I can assure you that my commitment to help provide the highest quality education, support, safety, and love to every student, regardless of their background or their faith, has not changed, and that remains a top priority of mine. Now for the portion I've been looking forward to, the highlighting the student behavior. At the high school football game Friday night against Northview, I witnessed one of our defensive players, I believe it was number 76, and I think his name was AJ Miller, if I caught that right, make a remarkable play by scooping up a stripped ball and giving it his all as he headed towards the end zone, and he was giving it his all. His teammates shielded him from the opponents, taking the blows so he could reach the end zone, prioritizing his success over their own. And then I saw the sideline full of his teammates erupt into excitement and cheering. It was truly inspiring. And just as I witnessed that and I teared up, I thought, this is the type of selflessness that I want to see fostered in our district, where students are encouraging and assisting and celebrating their classmates' success, even when it may come at a cost to themselves. And this was on full display Friday night by our varsity football players, and I couldn't be more proud of them. I also want to acknowledge an Anthony Wayne Sr. who recently started a student-led Bible study called A-Dub for Jesus, born out of his gratitude and passion for his personal faith. And what began with 16 students has grown to apparently over 85 students. And in his Facebook post, he's adamant that any and all high school students are invited to come. This young man's kindness, compassion, and inclusivity is helping tear down the walls of cliques and building a welcoming culture amongst his peers. And I again find myself inspired by one of our own Anthony Wayne students, and I'm challenged to model the same. There's so much to be proud of in our district, as we've seen tonight. And I have all the faith in the world that we can move forward graciously and united with the shared goal of ensuring our students thrive. What unites us, their future, far outweighs any differences that we all have. And the care and commitment we show them will no doubt shape tomorrow. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Move on to Mr. Stump.
Okay, there's no way I can speak as well as the FCCLA people. So, I also was planning on reading mine tonight. I may go on and off, but last month's meeting came at a time when emotions were high for many people in our community. I still share the sadness and concern that comes when the country feels divided and political tensions spill into violence. I want to start by repeating this quote. When people stop talking, really bad stuff starts. When marriages stop talking, divorce happens. When civilizations stop talking, civil war ensues. When you stop having a human connection with someone you disagree with, it becomes a lot easier to want to commit violence against that group. What we as a culture have to get back to is being able to have a reasonable disagreement where violence is not an option. This quote continues to sum up what I hope for our community, that we keep talking, keep listening, and stay connected even when we disagree. Over the past few weeks, I've had good conversations with people that I hold different perspectives with, and I value those deeply. To those who shared your thoughts after last month's meeting, I thank you. You mattered to me. Every person in this community matters to me. Out of respect for everyone, I'm going to continue to pray for our students, our staff, and our leaders, but I will do it outside of board meetings. I'm proud to serve this district, and I'll keep doing my best to listen, learn, and lead with respect for everyone. Thanks.
Thank you, Mike. Board Member McKnight.
Good evening. Thank you for coming out to the board meeting tonight. I also have my words prepared, but I will try to be as impromptu as I can. First, I would like to start out by congratulating Kaylin Schaller for the work that she put in with the FCCLA. I had the honor to judge this group's presentations a while back at Pena County, and I was amazed by the poise, the confidence, and the hard work each one of those young people put into their work for very meaningful projects. So congratulations to Ms. Schaller and the FCCLA team for all their successes. I know they're not here now, but they can see that a little bit later. Now let me ask you a question. What do you think is the most dangerous job in the world? I want you to think about that for a minute. Well, rated one of the most dangerous jobs in the world is this. Every winter, the park ranger and the veterinarian team go into the hibernating bear's den to get its temperature rectally, among other data. It's all well and safe if the bear continues to hibernate. She is gentle, passive, harmless. But if she awakes coming out of that sleep, there's a good chance that park ranger and that vet team, they may not make it out of that den alive. A poked bear is nothing to mess with. This provoked bear is instantly focused, angry, and on a mission. Why do I bring this up? Because until a month ago, the majority of the Anthony Wayne community was that hibernating bear, trusting and content that nature takes its course and the bear continues in its regular life. But that changed. I ran for election to the Anthony Wayne Board. I campaigned vigorously, and I felt that I could be a valued asset because of my background. And I won. Thousands voted for me. But why do we elect someone? We elect a person who we trust will represent us, to hear our interests, our beliefs, our values, etc. We vote and elect that person to carry out their job without constant supervision, without constant interference. Those voters are the hibernating bears. But that poke happened last month, waking you up and causing you to get involved. And from what I have seen and heard, there are some angry bears. Over the last month, I've received over 150 contacts from both the Anthony Wayne constituents and outside agencies, local, county, state, and even national. Personal emails, board emails, phone calls, texts, and random conversations that I had as I was out and about. I want to thank each and every one of you for reaching out to me, offering your support, and thanking me for being on the board. My heart is full because your thoughtful, intelligent, and loving sentiments did so much for my mental well-being. It means so much to me that so many of you want me to continue my tenure on the board. It kind of goes against the comments that I heard. Nobody wants you to stay. Everybody wants you to resign. I'm appreciative that such a large majority of the community realizes that a very small minority, very vocal, doesn't constitute what I think the majority of the community feels, that the recent reactions and actions of the board were conflated in an overreaction. I say again, I've always based any of my decisions or voiced any opinion about the school district to what is the best interest of the student, the teacher, the schools, and the community. Just like when I entered a classroom every morning without a personal agenda, those students did not know what was on my mind from the night before. They didn't need to know, but I needed to know what was in their night before. I put those kids first, just like in board business. I set aside my personal self to act in a nonpartisan, secular fashion. Anthony Wayne is a great district. Why do you think I ran? I will always advocate to maintain its excellence, teaching athletics, the arts, technology, all of it. And the teachers? They are that solid backbone. I will always support what they do every single day to promote students. But I want to make one final thing clear. Yes, I am resigning, and I will turn in my formal written resignation to the board on December 31st, 2025. But I am not resigning because of any social media activity. I want that to be clear. I had already planned to resign this month anyway, and I explained those reasons in detail to the board on September 18th in private. I am resigning because of private family issues, issues that my best friends already knew. They've known since March. I will be moving out of state by the end of 2026. I will continue, however, to be an active member of the board until then. I will continue to listen, research, evaluate, discuss, and decide with the board and any issue coming forth until that resignation date. I want to thank this community for the opportunity you gave to me, and it's been my honor to serve you. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Moving on to Mr. Baden.
All right. So I have, we'll be talking about the procedural part of the Mrs. McKnight's resignation and talk through the process that some have asked about and how that works. So the process of actually filling a board vacancy is covered in Ohio Revised Code. It's also covered in our own supporting policy, and it is the responsibility of the board to appoint a new board member, and it usually happens within 30 days of the vacancy that's created. So to apply, you must be a resident in our district, at least 18 years old, and a registered voter. And this is a nonpartisan position. So we do encourage those that are interested to review the board member guidelines and information that's on the board member. Online, we use OSBA, Ohio School Board Association. They've got a multitude of documents talking about board membership and responsibilities and duties and things to consider for board members. So if you do some research there, you can find all kinds of good information about being a board member, and if those align with your values and your ability to perform, then by all means, please apply. Would be happy to meet with any of you to discuss this further if you need any more details about personal information from us or the administration. We'd be happy to as well. So the process in summary, with the existing board member's responsibility to appoint the candidate, the remaining term for the exiting board member. So in this case, the remaining portion would be 2 years left in, and then you would have to be reelected to run again, just like normal. So you're only filling the remaining spot. So we've created an application. It's based off the OSBA suggested template, It's available, it will be available online tomorrow through the Anthony Wayne website. If you go on, right there's the picture of it. So there'll be a link on there to download the application and fill it out. It's a little bit of a history and then a couple questions to answer. And that will be also released through a media and press release tomorrow. So applications will be due November 3rd, which is about 3 weeks. We have to promote this and get the word out, and people fill them out and send them in. All applications need to be emailed to Mrs. Johnson as our treasurer. That way everything gets funneled through the office, or they can be brought in by hand to the school office as well, or the board office, excuse me. And just a side note, it does say in our bylaws that they need to be turned in writing, but in this day and age, email is considered in writing. When you email it as a proof of document that can be printed and it's in writing, so we're covered there. So then the next item, the board will review, rank, decide on the top finalists to be interviewed, and we'll try to do that by November 21st, so a few weeks later after that. And then we'll pick we'll be picking the top candidates with interviews, and then the announcement on December 8th board meeting would be the intention so that we can announce the new board member, and then the new candidate would be sworn in on January with the organizational meeting, along with Mike and Kyle as the secondary note. So if you weren't aware, there's 2 positions open on the board as of the end of this year, and Mike and Kyle are running unopposed in this election, so no one else was running. So good luck to them.
Thank you.
I assume they'll be elected, yes.
Appreciate it.
Yes. And just a final note then, good luck to anyone else running to open and apply for this position. It's a great responsibility and a commitment to the district to be able to serve in these spots. I do believe we have so much to be proud of in this district. We do have a great supportive community behind us. We have strong opinions in different directions at times, but I do not feel that we are divided. In fact, most of us are pretty passionate about doing the right thing for the kids and the school and the community. And that is the common ground that we aim to find and move forward. So I'm extremely proud of this district. There's so many good things. It's just like, I want to join FCLA after hearing those things. It's like, and then Jim too, I'm sorry you didn't get an applause, but I mean, that's for the whole district for the grades that we've done.
We appreciate you.
So extremely proud of the district. I'll continue to strive to improve and to further with all of our actions as a board and this district together. So any questions, please reach out.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, I guess I'm last. I didn't have anything written down. I figured everybody would pretty much say the exact same things. Obviously, last month was very emotional. We've had a lot of people reach out to what are we going to do to better ourselves. We have certain things that we are planning to do. One thing I'm going to lean on Mr. Herman of a training that we are scheduling to do the best practices for the board. On top of that, next month we are going to Capitol Conference, in which there are plenty of seminars there that we will all be discussing and what we will be attending to help better ourselves, better the district, refocus our stuff onto you. So, Mr. Herman, if you feel free to take a second.
I'll just share also that one thing I've said since I've started on the board and in this position is, that it's always important to disagree with dignity, and have shared that on numerous occasions, and I think that is so important for all of us to keep that in mind. I've also shared that different perspectives represent and should make us stronger as a board. So my true hope is that as we work through all of this, that we are able to keep our focus where it needs to be, keep our focus on our students, keep the focus on making this community proud and providing our students and everyone the opportunities that they deserve. Along with that is, in order to help make that happen, I have been in contact with the State Department of Education, and they have agreed to come to the district and actually do a best practices training. They will share information with our board members on how to be the best board members they can be. When, it will give them opportunities to share things. Okay, if they wanted to try to do this, is that a good idea? Is it not a good idea? And so forth. And so we are in the process of setting that date. And I do believe, I'm very happy that all of the individuals that I've spoken to on the board are very willing and to be a part of that training, and also are very willing to listen and recognize anything that's suggested in order to be the best board members that they can be. So I appreciate their willingness, and I appreciate the State Department being able to send someone out to be able to help us to become better, because that is what the goal of education is each and every day, to become better.
Couldn't agree more. I would say the exact same thing. So with that, thank you guys for attending. We're going to move on to item number 7 on our agenda, which is the recognition of visitors. We have 6 of them. If I butcher your last name, feel free, yell at me. Okay, first one, we're going to have David, is it Fournier? Perfect. What is it really? Fournier? Okay, perfect.
Members of the board, I'm Dave Fournier. I've lived and worked in beautiful White House, Ohio for the last 4 years or so with my wife, Sarah, and our 3 children. Our oldest, Gavin, is in 2nd grade at White House Primary. And I'd like to start by saying that we are so grateful for the leadership of Principal Rhodes. I wrote this before I knew you were going to be here. And for the stellar education that Gavin has received from Ms. Tokmak and Ms. Van Ness, and for the incredibly kind and supportive staff there. And it's the White House Primary teachers and staff, along with the rest of the teachers and students in the district, they are the reason I felt compelled to stand up here today and say that they deserve better leadership than the board has exhibited this past month. I'm one of the bears that got poked. I will freely admit that until recently, I have paid very little to no attention to the board. Local politics, I took the performance of our education system for granted. But it's become clear to me that I can no longer stand on the sidelines while this board's members make a public spectacle of themselves and embarrass the district. Last month, several members of this board participated in a partisan excoriation of Ms. McKnight. I'm not here to relitigate the propriety of Ms. McKnight's actions, nor the board's decision to censure her. I am here to highlight that if it were not for double standards, this board would have none. Last month, Ms. Hopkemeyer posted a comment designed to inflame the district's loudest, most partisan, and least civil voices, and she weaponized the Anthony Wayne Politics and Opinions page against a fellow board member. That choice doesn't square with the Christian witness she so often invokes. The faith she professes calls us to build up, not inflame, to correct in private before shaming in public, to speak in ways that give grace, and to show fruits of the Spirit, gentleness, self-control, peace. Mobilizing an online pile-on flies in the face of those precepts. Further, a review of your internal emails and your responses to the members of this community who have expressed their concerns have been met with antagonism and false victimization. And rather than de-escalating the growing partisan outrage, Mr. Miller leaned into it. Both online and during the meeting, he failed to enforce board policy and allowed repetitive hostile comments to be directed at Ms. McKnight. Though he holds the gavel, his conduct did not reflect the responsibilities of the role. And though he has agreed to serve as president of the board, heretofore, Mr. Miller appears to be the member least interested in learning how to more effectively execute his duties. My understanding is that based on district records, these trainings that are coming up will be his first on how to better serve as a board member. We didn't find any other attendance for board-related continuing education to date. He does apparently, however, have time for partisan campaigning despite running unopposed in the upcoming election. Most egregious, however, has been Mr. Stamm, and I do appreciate you meeting with me and taking the time. However, Mr. Stamm has been hypocrisy made manifest in the days following the censure of Ms. McKnight. I will set aside for now the Establishment Clause issues, the improper presentation of Turning Point at the last meeting, and I'll address instead his failure to abide by the same standards of conduct to which he has held Ms. McKnight. Just days after censuring Ms. McKnight for her partisan social media activity, after researching board policies to figure out which, if any, she had violated, internally he cited to a policy prohibiting using one's role for partisan, political, or religious purposes. Mr. Stam had the audacity to not just like, but to affirmatively comment truth on a post that stated, Democrats are the only group on the planet that can gun down an innocent man, celebrate his death, lie about who killed him, and somehow still make themselves the victims, showing his contempt for the constituents who do not subscribe to his political views. And though he has repeatedly been confronted about his online statements, he has refused to commit to avoiding partisan social media activity moving forward. As the most senior member of the board, Mr. Baden, he should have tempered his Republican colleagues' baser instincts. I hope he has the courage to use his voice to direct his fellow board members' time and attention to more productive district business moving forward. And finally, Ms. McKnight, you've been put through enough. I won't pile on, but I would like to thank you for your service to the district. In the emails and records that I've reviewed, one thing was abundantly clear. You, of all the members sitting up here tonight, truly cared about your role and took your responsibilities to the district seriously. Thank you for that, and I'm sorry that you're parting on this note. All of that is to say that the board's actions this past month have deeply damaged the remaining members' credibility and proven that they cannot be trusted to represent the entire community in a nonpartisan, unbiased manner.
Time.
As the board begins the process of filling the vacancy left by Ms. McKnight's... You set the precedent at the last meeting, sir. I will finish. Thank you.
We still set the precedent with the 5-minute mark.
And you let people go over last meeting.
We let one. I'll give you 15 more seconds. How's
Thank
that?
you. As the board begins the process of filling the vacancy left by Ms. McKnight's resignation, I hope that they consider the voices and views of the voters who elected her and appoint someone that isn't in lockstep with their own political ideologies. Choosing to hear a different and dissenting voice is the only way for the board to begin repairing its reputation and proving to the community that it truly represents every family and child, not just the Republican ones. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to point out I have been through 2 trainings. We actually, as the entire board, went to the Waterville Library for training. And also when I was elected the first time, I spent 2 days in Perrysburg at a hotel through training as well. So I appreciate you. All right. Second would be Bill Tuholsky.
Thank you, and you did pronounce my name correctly.
That's like 3 in a row.
The trifecta.
That's right.
Well, at the September 15th board meeting, I heard it said repeatedly that board members are role models, and they need to be held accountable for what they say in public forums. It is because I agree wholeheartedly with those sentiments, I really do, that I feel compelled to address the board this evening. For anyone who attended the September 15th board meeting or viewed it on video, and it's been archived, it's available, and if you don't want to rely on our perceptions, you can go to the Anthony Wayne School Board administration site and watch it for yourselves. The following could be observed, was observed at that meeting, or could be observed in the video. An Anthony Wayne board member who obviously, we know who it is, it's been revealed, but during his public comments, asked parents, students, and others in attendance to join him in a memorial prayer to a person who shared his religious and political views. This was not a prayer to consider a moment of silence for all the victims of political violence. It was an enshrinement of someone he idolized. Furthermore, and even more importantly, he clearly and emphatically stated that if anyone, meaning any parent, any student, any community member, had the audacity to speak critically about the man he idolized, they would have to answer to this large hulking man personally. Think about that. Just take a second. Let that sink in. He publicly dared anyone to express an opinion that differed from his own. Do these behaviors more closely resemble the portrait of a general that we see up there? Or do they present characteristics of a bully? Just think about that. I'm not asking anybody to respond, just something to mull over. When I raised my concerns with this board member, he stated his words and actions were entirely appropriate for a board member of a public school system. In his estimations, he did no wrong. By way of contrast, Mrs. McKnight offered a public apology to those that she may have offended in her post. There's quite a contrast there. Nevertheless, the board decided to censor Mrs. McKnight. So be it. If it's within their authority, I respect that. That was their decision. But if this board chooses to look the other way and not hold all board members to the same higher standards and accountability that Mrs. McKnight was subjected to, and just think about this, I don't want anybody to respond, what messages are we sending to those many hundreds of members in our community whose values and views don't closely align with those of this board member? What is the message? Who do we want to attract to live in our communities? So I'm just going to leave you with those questions to mull over. And I thought a lot about what I wanted to say. I've had a whole month, and I'm glad I said it. And I do applaud the board for recognizing that there needs to be some attention given to the board in general and how they post and have gotten diverted from what their main duties are as public servants to this community. So thank you for your time. I very much appreciate it.
Thank you, Bill. Next will be Sarah Fournier.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sarah Fournier, and I live in White House and want to reiterate all the wonderful things that were said about White House primary teachers and administrators, so thank you. I'd like to begin by addressing President Miller's remarks. I appreciate the comments about it being the time for board and community to move on. In many ways, I agree. The negative attention our district has received has been hard to watch, and I would also like to see this board's focus return to the business of education and supporting our students. I also want to acknowledge that some of the concerns raised by our community members over the past month were addressed this evening, and I appreciate that effort. However, many of the responses still felt surface level, offering explanations rather than genuine reflection. What's still missing is the kind of depth, accountability, and clear commitment to doing things differently moving forward that would truly begin to rebuild trust. When people say it's time to move on, what they really mean is they're looking for assurance that the board will follow its own policies, avoid divisive social media behavior, refrain from promoting religious or political agendas in public meetings, and fill the open position in a transparent, student-centered way, not one driven by personal alliances or agendas. It was concerning to hear Ms. Hope Kameyers double down on her view that public prayer and religious references and email signatures were simply a personal reflection of faith. The letter from the Freedom of Religion Foundation was serious and deserved a response that acknowledged its content, not one that came across as dismissive of both the letter and the valid concerns raised by community members. President Miller, I understand your comment tonight that board members' remarks represent their personal views, But tonight seemed like an important moment to exercise discretion and allow the district's legal counsel to review the statements that were made. So I want to be clear in regards to the defensiveness that we just saw. I haven't seen anyone suggest that board members shouldn't hold personal religious beliefs. Of course you can, and many community members do as well. The concern is about keeping those separate from your official role during public meetings. Everyone in this community, regardless of their background or beliefs, should feel equally safe, respected, and welcome to listen, participate, and share their perspectives. And it's clear not everybody does. Some have said that the prayer at the last meeting wasn't inappropriate because students weren't present. Yet district emails show it came up in high school classes the next day. Proof that what happens here shapes how our students see leadership, respect, and belonging. I'd like to share a few numbers that reflect what this community has been saying. Through my records request, I reviewed every email the district received related to the concerns raised last month, both before and after the most recent meeting. In addition to concerns about the public prayer, Turning Point USA promotion, the lack of respectful interaction among board members, troubling social media activities by other members, and the overall disorder and lack of decorum displayed during the meeting. Between September 10th and October 3rd, the district received 32 emails calling for Ms. McKnight's resignation or censure, and 26 emails supporting Ms. McKnight while raising complaints about the behavior of other board members. These messages represent a community that is far more evenly divided than some might assume by what they saw in social media. And those 26 voices, though they may not align with the majority of the board's individual or political views, still represent parents, staff, and residents who care deeply about this district and whose input deserves equal weight. Since this board has now set a precedent of treating Facebook emojis as indicators of public sentiment, I'll share one more small but telling point. When the Freedom from Religion Foundation's letter was shared publicly to the White House community page, it received 82 reactions as of 5 p.m. this evening. 76 of them are positive, 2 are crying emojis, and 1 is a laughing emoji. And honestly, that 1 laughing emoji could have been a mistake. So if we're measuring community sentiment the same way the board did last month, the math speaks for itself. Finally, I'll remind you that over 3,800 people in this district voted for Ms. McKnight in the last election. Community members who supported her because they believed she reflected their values. Many of them watching tonight, hoping to see the board demonstrate accountability, humility, and commitment to serving every member of this district. So my ask is simple tonight. Go back and truly listen to those messages. Don't just skim for agreement or defend past actions. Reflect on what your community was trying to say. How this board chooses to move forward will show our kids what it looks like to take responsibility, to listen, and to lead with integrity. That's the example they deserve to see from the adults guiding their schools and shaping their futures. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. I apologize for the last name on this one. Is it Leah Wuscher? Wuscher? Close. So what is it really? Wisher. Okay.
Hello, everyone, board members. Mine's just a quick couple of clarifications, questions on the procedure for the selection of the new board member. Firstly, will the metrics be available that you guys are going to use to rank the board members so we can kind of see what you're kind of basing this on? And secondly, the interviews, are those going to be public or are those an executive meeting that you'll be doing the interviews for the members? Or do you know yet?
We don't know. That's a great question. Thank you for bringing those to our attention. I say we haven't really discussed that. Just at the actual policy portion. But thank you.
Yeah, let me know.
We will.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. Yeah. Do you, Leah, at the end, can you give us your email, and then we'll get you that answer for you. All right. Second one, I'm sorry if I butchered the last name. We're just scrambled here. Cassandra, is it Hemmelgarn? Absolutely. All right. And our final speaker, Mr. Ryan Bauman.
Forgive me, I have
not come prepared with anything formal, just kind of speaking from my heart and as a community member. And I'm going to pivot 180 degrees in a totally different direction here. In the past, the board has approved spending for the superintendent to be part of the local chambers of commerce. I live in Monclova Township. I have a Maumee address, but I live obviously in Anthony Wayne School District. Some of us have talked and spoken, especially recently, that the Anthony Wayne Local School District is kind of a unicorn because we're not the city of Anthony Wayne. We're not the township of Anthony Wayne. We come together in events like this and we're all united because, oh, we go to Anthony Wayne schools. But when we leave here, we all go back to our respective communities and we're all 100% independent. Whether we live in Monclova, City of Waterville, Waterville Township, Swanton Township, Providence Township. I think I missed one. Did I say Swanton Township? I think there's
And
six.
a road in Perrysburg.
Oh, what? Well, Waterville, in the village of White House, that's the one. So that's 6 of us, communities that are around us. Things are happening that directly affect you as a board, directly affect our kids, our school district. But we have civic leaders that are making decisions on all of our behalves that at the end of the day affect our schools. So 3 years ago, for example, there was a large section of farmland in Monclova Township that was annexed out of Monclova into the city of Maumee. And the decision was made for a subdivision to be built, 306 homes, but those kids were gonna go to Anthony Wayne. Now, I went to the city of Maumee council meeting to speak on behalf of a property owner where I was gonna be affected by that subdivision. And I was given permission to speak, yes, as my legal right in a public forum. After the meeting, it was stricken from public record because I was not their constituent. I was not their resident. The concern at that time was, oh my gosh, we have communities making decisions that benefit themselves, but also indirectly benefit us. Are you aware? At the time, we were not aware. We weren't aware that we might have an additional 300 homes with kids coming to our district. They had no legal ramifications or notifications to Anthony Wayne Schools that they could make that decision on our behalf. I bring that up because right now we have all of these independent communities making decisions regarding data centers. I'm not for or against. This isn't a political statement as to how I personally feel about it. The fact of the matter is, we have thousands of acres of farmland in our district. It sure as heck sounds like we're gonna get one. Whether it's being driven by the county, whether it's being driven by the state, some of our community leaders have already changed zoning code to allow data centers as a conditional use. They're paving the way for this to happen. My concern for our district is, again, not for or against, it very much could drive down our property values. If it drives down our property values, why would I not fight the county auditor to have my property tax value reduced? If my property tax value is reduced, what the school district is going to get from me is going to be less. These data centers do not prove to be financially worthwhile and beneficial to a school district. I mean, just at the 20 mil floor state required minimum, they're negotiating ridiculously cheaper tax rates. Eastwood schools and Otsego schools, excuse me, are only going to receive $900,000 a year for the metadata center in BG, in Middleton Township, fixed for 15 years, fixed. I live in an 18-year-old home and I'm still paying you property taxes. It doesn't stop just because my house reaches a certain age. The lifespan of these data centers is now speculated to be anywhere between 7 to 10 years. So they're promising to pay money well after the useful life of these data centers are going to expire. So why do I bring this up to you? I've spoken to some of you individually, and I'm glad that you guys have a training coming up because this is, for me, this is just like, I hope that you can get an answer to this. Could the board actually create a subcommittee of community members that are your eyes and ears, that are going to Monclova Township trustee meetings, that are going to City of Waterville council meetings, that are going to Village of White House Council meetings as your representative and pushing back a little bit to those civic leaders and saying, Anthony Wayne Schools deserves a seat at your table. If you're going to make a decision about your community, bring new industry in, that might be your right. But if it's going to positively or negatively affect our schools, we want to know about it. So I'll respect the time clock, but
I appreciate you.
But thank you.
We'll be in conversation. I appreciate it. All right. With that, that leads us to the final item on our agenda, which will be adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Shelley moves. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Lindsay seconds. Carrie, when you're ready.
Mr. Baden?
Yes.
Mrs. Hopkemeyer?
Yes.
Ms. McKnight?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Stom?
Yes.
Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. Next board meeting will be November 3rd, 6 p.m.